everyone, this is CricketSong with Inner Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Practical Witchcraft. In this video, we are going to be casting a spell for retaining power, or in other words, a battery spell. So let's walk over to the altar and get casting. Okay, everybody, we are going to be casting a spell for retaining power, meaning that we are going to use an object to hold the power that we will be using at a later date. So this object will act as a battery. I am going to use this stone here that I keep on my altar for my battery. That is what we're going to use for the object. So right now let's move all the items that I don't need from the altar, so I have some space. The feathers that I normally remove, except the one feather that stays. And then we are going to light our candles. And again, remember that when you come to the altar, you're in your trance or meditative or spell casting space, your mental space. You're already ready to start casting. So you prepare yourself in whatever way you need to that is aligned with your own spirituality or personal practice. So let's light the candles. The first candle that I'm going to light is my red candle, and it's for the divine feminine, the primordial feminine, or blood. The next candle I'm going to light is the black candle for the primordial or divine masculine, or flesh. And the final candle I light on my altar is the white candle for spirit, ethers, or bone. Okay. Then I'm going to light a charcoal disc. And I've already crafted the incense that we're going to be using for this spell. If you want to know how I pick the herbs that I pick, the whole process that I go to in crafting an incense, I would encourage you to watch the first episode of this series, and I actually go through the whole process of how I craft an incense. Incense plays a very large role in my spellcraft because of my sense of smell is very strong, and I am very connected to experiences, physical, ow, that was hot, physical, spiritual experiences through my sense of smell, which is why I always have an incense burning when I'm doing my spellcraft or when I'm meditating or anything of that sort. There's always some sort of incense burning. I want to make sure that this lights. I'm going to try to light the other halves. This particular brand, I'm not having a very successful experience with this particular brand. I don't think I'll buy this one again. Okay, that looks like There we go. That one looks like it finally caught. So I'm going to put that in my cauldron. So the incense that I've crafted for this particular spell is an incense mixture of rosemary, mugwort, bay leaf, and cedar. That's what we're using today. If I were to be actually casting this spell as opposed to doing this demonstration, I would probably do this spell on a Sunday. But here's the thing about this particular spell. The purpose here is that when you have power and you're not ready to cast a particular spell, you are going to transfer that power into a battery so that you can then use that item to retrieve the power that you've stored there at a later time. So for instance, say you had a very emotional situation happen for you. Maybe it stirred up overwhelming feelings of joy and you wanted to capture the energy, the vibrational frequency of that joy. You would then do this, which I'm going to show you, this process, this spell, so that you can hold that joy for a later time when you wanted to cast a spell. Perhaps you had a very strong situation that elicited feelings of anger or feelings of grief or feelings of love, and all these different energies that you felt within you that you knew would be helpful for you at a later date. You would transfer that energy into a particular item. Now, you can use whatever item you feel drawn to use. I find that it's very helpful to use an item that then triggers the feelings of that emotion. So if it was maybe love, and I had a ribbon that was wrapped around a bouquet of flowers that my husband had given me at, our first date, maybe I would want to transfer this overwhelming feelings of love to that ribbon and then later use that ribbon to tap into the power to use it in a love spell. If I wanted to, I had a situation that really brought up a lot of anger and frustration, and I wanted to use that in a curse at a later time. Maybe I would use something, maybe I'm using a stone, but maybe it's not anger, but maybe it's a stone, because then you can imagine throwing that stone out of anger or frustration, and you wanted to transfer it, you might use a stone. Maybe you have a coin or a bone, although I would not use a bone, but maybe for you that would make sense. A piece of jewelry, just a little token of something that you bought, a little trinket or a little statue or anything that you want to transfer that energy into. But it would make sense to make you think of whatever that type of energy that you've stored in that particular item. Okay, so this is pretty lit, and I'm going to start the incense. Okay. Now, because this is a natural item, this stone, it was given to me, someone found it, and they specifically gave it to me to use in my spellcraft. So I am going to use this. I have not cleansed it and I have not consecrated it, because the energy of this particular stone is going to merge with the energy I'm going to send to it and use it as a battery. Okay, so I'm going to place this on my pentacle, and I'm going to allow the energies of this herbal mixture to sort of permeate. When as usual, if you've watched any of the other videos, when I've lit the candles, I would have done an evocation of the primordial feminine, the primordial masculine, and spirit into my space. I would summon or call or invite my beloved dead, who are visualized here on my altar, as well as the spirit guides and spiritual entities that I work with, the ancestors of the witches, and any other spiritual allies, primary, spirit guides or animal guides that I work with to come forward. All my, my guardian, all the spiritual entities that I work with, I'm going to call forward and ask to help with this particular spell. I'm also going to light a purple candle. So I'm going to get out my little candle holder, and I'm going to light a purple candle. And I'm going to light this purple candle from the spirit flame here. I did not anoint it, I did not carve anything in it, because I'm using this basically as a focal point for me to focus on as I transfer the energy. So it's not necessarily a spell, a candle spell, but it's going to aid me in focusing my mental and spiritual energies into transferring it to the item. This is very similar to enchanting. It's very similar to enchanting. There is a subtle difference in that I'm tapping into a specific emotional energy that's already bubbling up, so I sort of don't have to call it forth. It's already bubbling there under the surface, and I want to transfer the energy of that into this specific item. So what I'm going to do is, here you need to know which hand is your projective hand and which hand is your receptive hand. Now for me, my projective hand is my right hand. I am right-handed. Not everybody who's right-handed will have a projective hand of being the right hand. You may be right-handed and have a projective hand of the left hand. You may be left-handed and your projective hand is the left hand, but you're going to need to explore and discover this for yourself. I will say that there is a large number of people whose projective hand is generally the hand that they write with, but it's not always the case. It could be different for you. But my projective hand is my right hand and my receptive hand is my left hand. Now, if I am just pulling the energy from within, an emotion that I've had within, then I am going to use my projective hand to hold the item that is acting as a battery, because I am pulling the energy out of myself into the item. I am going to take my left receptive hand, and depending on what that feeling is, I am going to place it over where the chakra would be located in my body. So if I'm feeling love that I'm going to project into here, I'd put my hand, my receptive hand, over my heart. If it is mental energy, I would put it on my head. If it is power like anger, anything like that, I'm going to put it on my solar plexus. That's where my place of power is. And I'm going to hold the battery, the item that is going to act as a battery, in my projective hand, because I'm sending it to the item. Okay, and then I am going to say, take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. And I'm going to chant that. As I've done in other videos, I'm going to repeat it. Take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. I'm going to start slow and methodical and work up to a very strong, loud, frenzical type chant, and release the energy into here, into this item. So it would be something like this. Take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. Take this energy, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. Take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. Take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. Take this power, keep it sound, to be used when none is found. Again, I keep doing that until none is found. And then I would wait until I felt all the energy travel from wherever I imagined it or felt it in my body, through my shoulder, down my arm, into the palm, and into the item. when that was done, I'd say, this is my will, this is my plea, so mote it be. I then would place the item here, and as my other things that I've enchanted, I will ask my spirit allies, guides, beloved dead, ancestors, whatever I work with, to ensure that the energy, the power is safe, sound, and stored into the item. You could anoint the item if you felt so inclined. I do not, because of what it is. It's the nature of the stone. While I was chanting, I would be focusing on the candle, but I would be sending the energy. Oh, well, look at that. I would be sending the energy to the stone. Now, actually, the fact that it fell like that, I'm actually going to keep it that way. When you're doing spell crafting and something like this happens, depending on what it is, it may be a sign for you to either have not done the spell or stop doing the spell if you're in the process of doing the spell. And let me explain why I would say this is a positive thing and something I want to continue to allow to happen. The cauldron for me is a representation of the womb and the tomb. It is the place of all creation. It is like a woman's womb. It's her uterus where things are created. So for me, it is a representation of the primordial feminine, just like my red candle. The fact that I have incense burning, and I've explained that incense plays a major role in my craft, the fact that the smoke of this incense in the womb of the primordial mother is telling me that it is taking not only my energies, but the energies of divine feminine and infusing it into that stone. And the person who gave me this stone is very much aligned with the divine feminine as well. So I would suggest that this is an indication that I could continue, and I should allow this stone to sit in the womb, to sit in the earth. It is a stone, and that's where it was created. So I'm going to continue to feed this incense and allow that stone to stay in there. And I'm then, this was not planned, going to place the candle on top. Now, and then I would allow the candle to burn out, allow the incense to stop burning. When this is complete, I would thank my spiritual court. I would then make sure the offerings are fresh. If there is any other offerings that are required or asked of me, I would give that, and then I would extinguish the candles. What I want to share with you is, in using a battery spell such as this, you could actually take the energy of a thunderstorm, a hurricane, wind, just a rainstorm, very strong heat energy, any other energy that is around you that is maybe not always happening. Like here in Seattle, Washington, we had a really strong thunderstorm not so long ago, a few weeks ago. I could, if I wanted to, take a battery, go out in that storm and harness that energy and place it in the battery for later use. So perhaps I would have wanted to use this large stone for that purpose. Now, if I'm going to do that, this is going to be done a little differently, because I'm not pulling the energy from inside of me, but I'm going to pull the energy of the thunderstorm that's happening around me. So what I would do then is I would still hold the stone in my projective hand, because I'm going to put it into the stone. But instead of taking my receptive hand and placing it on me, I would lift my hand up into the sky and pull the energy, receive the energy in that way. So I would stand outside with my hand up to the sky where the rain or the thunder and lightning is happening, and take the energy and feel the energy go into the palm of my receptive hand, travel down through my arm, through my shoulder, through my body, and place it into here. Travel through, down, and into here. If I was going to take it from maybe the ocean, I would plunge this hand into the ocean and again, feel the water travel up, the energy of the water do that. So you can do that as well if you're not pulling or drawing from you. If you have someone who wants to share their energy and gift their energy to you, sort of like, you know, feeding on someone else's energy, or I'm not going to talk about magical ethics, but you could also do the same thing. Say I'm going to use this stone as the receptive stone, and I'm going to place my hand on the person with this hand and pull the energy from them and transfer it into there. Same sort of thing, same sort of process. That's what I would do. So that's it for this particular spell. Until next time, I love you. Blessed be.